All of Digang's campaigns had been about the concept of super biological warframe, but none had shown the appearance of this new warframe. At this time, Digang was seizing the time to shoot the commercials for SKTS for publicity. Digang had informed Blackhawk to allow Hussein to take a leave from school when there was no holidays so that he could go to a base of Digang for the shooting. Because it was a trade secret, Hussein could not tell anyone anything. Before the commercials were aired, Hussein just told Ji Yanran that he had some errands to run before he was taken by the staff of Digang. In a corner office at the base of Digang, an 18-year-old girl in white uniform was arguing in front of Liu Changming. General Manager Liu, I believe that I have the ability and confidence to star the commercial. Why would you ask me to be just a pretty face and let an ordinary military school student to star the commercial? Please give me an explanation. Yu Qingzhen was sizzling with anger. Although obedience was the first duty of a soldier, Yu Qingzhen, who was from a service family, could not accept the fact that she had to be a stooge to an ordinary student. As a member of the Special Warframe Force, as well as the 4th and the only female among the chosen this year, Yu Qingzhen was a bigger star than Tang Zhenliu and Lin Feng. As early as a year ago, Yu was designated as the official spokesperson of Digang and had endorsed most of the company's new products. The sales numbers of those products had been great. That was why it was difficult for her to accept the order to act in a supporting role to an ordinary military school student, who was from Blackhawk. Maybe for an average person, Blackhawk was regarded as a prestigious school, but for her, who was in Alliance Central Military Academy, Blackhawk was nothing. Qingzhen, you are not in a supporting role. You are the heroine, and he is the hero, and the commercial will be starred by both of you, Liu Changming said with a smile. Besides, now all young people like to see a beauty in commercials. You will definitely attract more attention than he ever will. General Manager Liu, do you think I'm a 3-year-old? This is a Warframe commercial. Have you ever seen a heroine who does not drive the Warframe? Asked Yu Qingzhen, biting her lip. She had seen the script. Although she was the heroine, there was no scene where she would drive SKTS. The point of her being there was her face, which was not something she was used to. And she was indeed playing a supporting role. After all, whoever drove a Warframe could be called a star in a commercial. Qingzhen, you are not only a soldier, but also a star. Trust your performing skills and I believe you can make yourself a protagonist of you too. Liu Changming narrowed his eyes and said. But Yu Qingzhen wanted to say anything, but was interrupted by Liu. No, but this is an order. If you have any opinion, you can go talk to your superior. Liu Changming darkened his face. Yu bit her lip and had to step out of Liu's office. A soldier before a star, she must obey orders despite her own unwillingness. As a member of the Special Warframe Force, she could not even touch the Warframe in a Warframe commercial, which was definitely a shame for her. I want to see who it is that took this role from me. Yu Qingzhen ground her fine teeth. If it was for any other commercial, Yu Qingzhen would not mind as much. But she was really into SKTS. In her eyes, SKTS was leading the revolution in the Warframe industry. Hence it was her sincere hope to star the commercial for this Warframe. Hussein was received by Liu Changming himself when he came to the base. Hussein did not dare to trifle with Liu, who was the general manager of Digang and a major general. Fortunately, Liu Changming had a great impression of Ha Sen, and their meeting was also quite pleasant. Liu Changming personally arranged for Ha Sen's residence and welcome dinner, where almost everyone involved in the commercial showed up. Liu introduced the director, producer and everyone else to Ha Sen. The only one missing was the heroine. But Ha Sen did not know there would be a heroine at all and simply enjoyed his meal. The next day, someone took him to the Warframe training ground to get familiar with SKTS. Looking at its appearance, Ha Sen could hardly distinguish between SKTS and Silver Killer. The only difference was that when folded up, SKTS was bigger than Silver Killer. Silver Killer was the size of a portable briefcase, while SKTS was like a luggage case. An array of SKTS were placed on the stage, looking identical. Ha Sen picked one and turned it on. Although it had the same appearance, Ha Sen felt the difference after he started to drive. In SKTS, the comfort of driver was improved, whereas the performance was significantly reduced. But even SKTS was much better than the King series of Starry Group in both performance and smoothness. Used to using a high-performance Warframe, Ha Sen was driving SKTS in his usual style, which led to small deviations in the Warframe's movements. Some acts that Ha Sen assumed that SKTS would perform easily actually failed due to its lack of horsepower. Having been watching him secretly in an SKTS on the side, Yu Qinzhen felt even worse for herself being a stooge to this guy. Even if I could not get the leading role back, I will show you what it is like to be a true Warframe operator, thought Yu. Turning her Warframe on, she commanded it to draw a laser sword and rush toward Ha Sen. When practicing, Ha Sen suddenly saw an object approaching him at a high speed from the radar. He looked up and saw another SKTS coming toward him with a sword in its hand, assuming that it was arranged to get him familiar with the Warframe. Ha Sen was not surprised. Controlling his Warframe to hold a sword in hand, he was ready for the fight.